Hello, everyone. Welcome to Out of the Box. This time we are looking at the 4 Challenger decks for Magic the Gathering. Now, these are a little different than your typical, dual decks, intro packs, etc., because these are actually made for Standard. And by association, Modern, Pioneer wouldn't be too good in Legacy or Vintage because the card pool for these is literally a standard card pool. But I've seen it go online for anywhere from $25 to $35 depending on the deck. This one tends to go for a little more. This one tends to go for a little less. All 4 of them are really good because all 4 of them are actually tournament viable, including 4 ofs and 3 ofs some important cards. And I'm actually going to crack open each one of these. They're actually already open. I opened them the other day, but we're going to spread them out, at least the main deck, and we're going to show off the cards very slowly and hopefully give a little bit of a description of what each of them do. Okay, so the first deck is your typical mono Red Aggro deck. Designed to get little guys in play to then pump them up big time, like this here. Torbran states that if a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent opponent controlled deals damage +2. And then we've got this 1 copy of Endercleave, which has flash, and it costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When it enters the battlefield, it already gets attached, and the equipped creature gets +1/+1 double strike and trample. So we've got a whole bunch of fun stuff here to make for one beastly aggro deck, sorry. Also, the other thing, I know I'm going through these cards really quickly. The other cool thing with these decks is unlike your typical intro pack or event deck, or typical intro pack or dual deck, these come with over 20 rares. Everything on this top row is rare. This is a mythic. These are rare. Those are not. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 19, 20, 23 rares. And that's what makes these decks, in my opinion, so much better than your intro packs and the stuff that comes in game night and whatnot. By the way, this is all mountains. This deck comes with 18 mountains, so... Anyway, moving on to deck number 2. This is Flash Ferocity. A lot. And I mean a lot of the cards in this deck have flash. Like, a lot of them do. And it's a Simic deck. So on top of a whole lot of stuff having flash, you've got counter spells. You've got some unsummons. You've got Sinister Sabotage. You've got Aurochs. Is that what that says? Quench. I can't talk. You've got Opt for drawing. You've got Spectral Sailor for more flash. You've got enough mana to get you by. You've got some cards with evasion abilities. This here, the Hippocamp, when you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, you draw a card. So, boom. This is why you want all this flash. And, of course, the mana base is 8 force, 8 islands. These lands here and these lands here. So, you've got a decent mana base, too. The next deck. This deck is Final Adventure. It's called Final Adventure because it runs a lot of the adventure cards. How many does it run? 18 adventures. which is what you want in a deck like this, because it does run 4 of this guy, Lucky Clover, which states, when you cast an adventure, instant, or sorcery, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. It also runs 4 Edgewall Innkeepers, which states whenever you cast a creature spell that has an adventure, draw a card. You don't actually have to you don't have to cast the adventure part. So with these 2 cards in play, you'd have 8 draw engines. Because the ultimate goal is to get Vraska out. And her ulti gives you an emblem that states whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses. But overall, this is a very good Golgari deck. Golgari is like my favorite Ravnica guild, so I'm also a little biased. But all in all, a decent black-green deck that is decently playable out of the box. And now, finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. Well, at least some of us. Alright, this is the deck that has been touted by most people as the weakest challenger deck in it. And I can understand why. But not for the same reasons that other people say. According to the deck description, and I will even put the description in front of us. If you think the only thing cooler than a personal Planeswalker army is a personal Planeswalker army that can also turn to dragons, this deck is for you. Cool! I like that. This deck runs 5 different Planeswalkers. The deck also runs a playset of Fires of Invention, which states you can only cast spells during your turn. You can only cast no more than 2 spells each turn. You may cast spells with converted mana costs less than or equal to the number of lands you control without paying their mana costs. So, it kind of ruins the purpose in my opinion. I could be mistaken. Call me dumb. But if you want a Planeswalker army, the last thing you need is 4 of these. You could have put in Planeswalkers. You could have put in Chandra, or I don't know. You could have put in 1 more of him. You could have put in 2 more of her. 1 more of her. I don't even know why this deck's got Ugin in it. You can't use his first ability at all. This deck does not contain, the main deck anyway, does not contain any colorless spells. There's a lot that could have been done with this. And I understand they wanted to limit the amount of rares to put in, but at the same time, I feel this deck is pretty weak. Simply because of that. They could have put in a draw engine, for crying out loud. That would have been kind of cool. But, so tell me what you think of the 4 decks. And I will see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.